Imagine reporting live from a conflict zone, only to become the very news you're covering. This is the chilling reality that befell Al Jazeera journalist Ismail al-Ghul and his cameraman, Rami al-Rifi. Their mission was to bring us the news from the heart of conflict, from the Shati refugee camp in Gaza, where they were reporting on the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. Under the stark skies of Gaza, amidst the echoes of war, a sudden airstrike turned their world upside down. The journalists stood in the face of danger, their dedication to their craft unwavering, their commitment to truth unyielding. But the airstrike was relentless, and in an instant the voice of Ismail al-Ghul and the lens of Rami al-Rifi were silenced forever. This wasn't just an attack on two individuals, but an attack on the very essence of journalism. It's the story of the risks journalists take to bring us the realities of our world, to illuminate the shadows of conflict, to give voice to the voiceless. And in doing so, they sometimes find themselves in the crossfire, victims of the very stories they strive to tell. The deaths of Ismail al-Ghul and Rami al-Rifi have reverberated around the world, inciting outrage and calls for investigation. The incident has raised serious concerns about the safety of journalists in conflict zones and has sparked a global conversation on the necessity of protecting those who dare to report from the front lines of war. In the line of duty, these journalists paid the ultimate price. But the story doesn't end with the airstrike. What follows is a heated controversy that has caught the attention of the world. The Israeli military claims that the slain journalist, Ismail al-Ghul, was not just a civilian journalist but a Hamas operative. This bold assertion has been vehemently disputed by Al Jazeera, the news network al-Ghul worked for, and by his family members. In this world of information and misinformation, the question becomes, who do we believe? The Israeli military stands firm on their claim, asserting that al-Ghul was part of Hamas's elite unit. This claim, however, is not backed by any publicly available evidence, and it has been questioned by many. On the other side, Al Jazeera strongly denies these allegations, maintaining that al-Ghul was a civilian journalist engaged in the perilous task of reporting from a war zone. Al-Ghul's family, too, stands by the network's assertion, adding a personal perspective to the dispute. The killing of the journalist has sparked outrage across the globe. Calls for detailed investigation into the incident have been echoing in various quarters. The United Nations has emphasized the need for accountability for the killings. The world watches, waiting for justice, waiting for the truth. This controversy only adds to the toll of the conflict in Gaza, a conflict that has resulted in the deaths of numerous journalists. The numbers vary, but the fact remains: the profession of journalism has become increasingly dangerous in this region. The Committee to Protect Journalists, along with Al Jazeera, have highlighted the perils faced by journalists in Gaza, expressing serious concerns about targeted attacks by Israeli forces. A civilian journalist or a covert operative, the truth is shrouded in controversy. In the wake of the tragedy, reactions have been swift and widespread. Al Jazeera has been formidable in its response, expressing unequivocal condemnation of the killings. The network has labeled the horrific incident as nothing short of targeted assassinations, sending shockwaves through the international community. Their vow for legal action resonates with a firm commitment to justice, a beacon of hope in such trying times. But the story doesn't end with Al Jazeera's resolve. The situation has unveiled a startling reality: a rising death toll of journalists in Gaza. It is reported that since the onset of the conflict, at least 111 journalists and media workers have lost their lives. This staggering figure is a chilling testament to the dangers faced by those committed to reporting the truth. In the face of this grim reality, the United Nations has stepped forward, raising its voice against the atrocities. The international body has called for accountability for the killings, emphasizing the urgency and importance of safeguarding press freedom and the lives of those who risk everything to shed light on the world's darkest corners. The aftermath of this tragedy has triggered a global outcry, with nations, institutions, and individuals alike demanding justice for the fallen journalists. It has sparked a renewed commitment to protect the lives and rights of journalists worldwide, who often stand on the front lines of conflict and unrest, armed with nothing more than their courage and their cameras. In the midst of the sorrow and anger, there is a glimmer of hope. The world is watching, and the call for justice is loud and clear. As the dust settles, the narratives of Ismail al-Ghul and Rami al-Rifi will continue to echo, a stark reminder of the price of truth in a world often shrouded in darkness. As the dust settles, the world demands justice for the fallen journalists and accountability for their deaths. Thank you for watching our coverage on The Unseen Battle: Journalists in Gaza. Your engagement helps bring these pressing issues into the global spotlight. If you're as passionate about these issues as we are, consider subscribing to our channel for more in-depth coverage. We can't thank you enough for your time and interest. Your support helps us continue to shed light on these important stories. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and remember, the freedom of the press is a cornerstone of democracy and a right we should all defend. Together, we can make a difference. As we sign off, we remember Ismail al-Ghul and Rami al-Rifi, and all the brave journalists who have paid the ultimate price in the pursuit of truth. Their stories will not be forgotten, and their sacrifices will continue to fuel our commitment to justice and press freedom.